What do you think we as a business school and as educators, what do you think is important that we teach this new generation who wants to go into banking?
I think anybody going into banking needs to be flexible, and I think we need to teach our graduates how to adapt, how to really adapt. In big organisations, you find a lot of people who are very resistant to change. Change is scary, it makes them nervous. If there's one toolkit that we can really give people going into banking now, it's embrace change. Make suggestions for change. Don't be frightened of change. Yes, it can be a challenge, but banking has got to change. I think everything to do with banking is back in buildings and bricks and mortar and lots of people who sit around thinking of exciting products for you. But it's got to be flexible, it's got to change. And if you can lead change, then there's your leadership skills. You can drive change, you can be resilient to things that are going on in banking. As part of a team, you can bring your team with you. Change is a really scary thing for some people, and if you are good at it and we teach graduates to embrace it, I think we're really giving them something in their toolkit that will be useful throughout their career.
So change management, one of them, leadership.
Yeah.
And we talked about the cultural differences as well, sort of this sort of awareness of if you work in a team from different cultures, and how do you think that will be important in the future with all the technology that we have, virtual meetings that we can have? Is it still relevant?
I think it is. Being able to read people and being able to understand, even if you don't have the same culture or the same background or even the same primary language, is a really useful skill. You can pick up a lot of signs from their body language, from where the conversation is going, from their silences, from all sorts of different signals. Take a moment to step back and think about, okay, what cultures, what are their drivers, what's going to be upsetting for them, what's going to be pleasing for them. There are always ways of doing business where you're not going to be upsetting people, because you can recognise that you're heading down a route that might be a bit scary, then pull yourself back from it. Yeah, I think having an awareness of how other people might react to something you say is a good skill set to pick up, and some people just don't have that awareness. They just don't get other people, and probably if that's you and you think in your mind, no, I just don't get people around me, don't go into banking, would be my recommendation.
I was just saying, is that a common trait in banking that, you know, I could imagine that a lot of people who want to go into banking, they're more there for dealing with the numbers, wanting to do some of those things, the hard skills, or not so much the people side, but it seems like that's a very important part of it.
I think the people side is. I mean, banks pretty much are a lot of people in a building. If you take all the people out, yes, you've got the systems in the background, but I think the people are the big asset in banking is the people. As a business school, I guess bring in challenges for them to work through, which we do anyway. Have a case study of something that did actually happen and just say, right, this is where we started. Call a halt and say, right, what would you do then? You know, what would you do with this customer? What would you do with this scenario? And just let them sort of play it through. Actually give them practical examples rather than hypothetically speaking, you know, if you've learned this, what would you use it for? Give them real case studies and see, you know, what they would do, and then say, well, this is what I did and this is how this turned out. And you know, we've learned from our mistakes. I know Sam Farrow, when you interviewed Sam, said, don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Yes.
You do learn a lot from your mistakes, but if you can do it in the business school environment,
safe place.
It's a safe place,
yeah.
Safe place to make mistakes. I think it's perfect to have industry partners come in. I mean, obviously some of us can be a bit boring in our chosen subjects if the subjects are a bit dry, but you know, some of the examples that we've been involved in are fascinating. We've made mistakes. I mean, we didn't necessarily have the benefit of being able to sit in a business school and you know, get the wrong answer in a safe environment. And actually some of those are very funny, some of them are, you know, almost tear-inducing.